So this is Venomous, which means Wayfinder is finally here. You get to jump into Evanor live on both PC and PlayStation right now with Founders Early Access, and I've left a link in this video's description for anyone interested in getting into the game. Now, recently I was granted full access to Wayfinder and I had the opportunity to fully equip a max rank Venomous, and let me tell you, I think I have discovered my favourite, Wayfinder. Now, during the beta I tried them all, and Silo was my go-to, but it's hard to resist a class that can combine both damage and healing, and while Silo specialises in crowd control and damage, Venomous is equally lethal but with the added bonus of healing abilities and constant damage over time due to those toxins. So I ran her through a dungeon. Now for my Venomous build I focused on her ability, power, crit chance and crit damage, and my aim was simple. I wanted her Venom's damage over time to land some chunky hits and give me decent heals at the same time, so I managed to bring her power level up to just above 2300. And she is of course the maximum rank of level 30. Now the Lost Zone dungeon I brought her through had a similar power level, and to spice things up I equipped 2 imbuements to create the Chaos Spore Mutator, which spawns exploding mushrooms of enemies that you kill if they don't have a host to jump to, because why not? Now before we dive into her abilities of what Venomous has to offer you, in case you are considering picking her up as your Wayfinder with the game's live launch today, it is worth noting that each ability on Wayfinders have 3 levels, which require 12 skill points in total if you want to level them all, but the game only gives you 7 points, so you're going to have to pick and choose which abilities you want to level up or which abilities you want to base your Venomous or any of the other Wayfinders around once you level them up. Now Venomous can poison enemies and heal her teammates, with her thruster ability granting her a bit of extra mobility. Her passive ability is called Master of Venoms. Weapon hits apply venom, inflicting damage over time and stacking up to 5 times. Landing hits on enemies with 5 stacks of venom triggers a poison cloud to spawn that will deal damage over time and replenish those stacks of venom. Now this poison cloud effect has got a cooldown of 5 seconds, and her first ability is called Transfusion. Venomous will unleash a volley of poison needles that will home in on nearby enemies, dealing damage. Striking an enemy with a needle sends a healing projectile towards a nearby Wayfinder, so one of your teammates or yourself. The healing effect over time scales with the number of venom stacks on the target enemy, so 5 stacks means you're going to get more heals for you and your teammates. Her second ability is called Vampiric Blast. This is where Venomous will basically throw a bomb or a grenade on the ground that can absorb up to 5 of those nearby poison clouds that you have spawned off enemies. After a brief delay, the bomb will detonate, inflicting damage on enemies and also healing allies proportionate to the number of poison clouds that it has absorbed. So the more clouds it has absorbed, the larger the heal is going to be. Now her third ability is called Venom Thrusters, and this is where she will execute a dash in a specific direction, whichever one you want to, and it will leave behind a trail of poison cloud in your wake. These clouds will damage over time and apply stacks of venom at the same time, so it is worth noting you could dash through a group of enemies in order to get stacks of venom on them before using Vampiric Blast or stacking up with the transfusion needles. Now her ultimate ability is called Deep Breath. This is where Venomous will unleash a massive explosion that deals damage and applies 5 stacks of empowered venom to enemies. Empowered venom will inflict damage over time but also counts as additional stacks of venom for your passive, which is Master of Venoms, and of course for your transfusion ability, which is your first ability. So her whole kit bounces off the need for stacking venom but also spawning those poison clouds in order to deal more damage over time, but her first and second abilities also have a healing element to them which will help you or your team out. Now like I said, you only have 7 skill points, so you can bring some abilities up to level 2 or leave some of them at level 1, or you can ignore an ability completely and just level one of them up to level 3 so that you can max it out, because each level of an ability that you give, it will slightly alter how that ability works, or the effectiveness of that ability as well. So it is worth noting, like I said, you need 12 skill points to max all of the abilities out, but you're only going to get 7. So there is going to be a decent amount of, build variety within the community as to what way certain players will build certain Wayfinders. Now, on top of that, every Wayfinder more or less has a 5th ability. That 5th ability being whichever weapon you equip, because you can equip any weapon you want. If you wanted to have a melee weapon on your Venomous, you could. You could go daggers, you could go sword and shield, you could go two-handed, entirely up to you, or you can stick with the rifles. Now, her signature weapon is called Nightshade, and it is of course a burst rifle. Each needle that this weapon fires is imbued with venom, guaranteed that every hit is dealt with both swift and agonizing effectiveness. Now, the weapon's special ability is called Wyvern's Fury, which you're going to have to build up that meter to unlock it. But with this ability, Venomess reloads Nightshade with a specially empowered clip, and when you activate the ability, the weapon will transform from a burst rifle into a fully automatic rifle, where every bullet in the clip is saturated with potent poison or venom, designed to apply a stack of poison with each successful hit. Now, this poison will inflict a damage over time constant stream of damage over 6 seconds, and it can stack up to 20 times. Now, when you add that poison to the 5 stacks of venom from her passive, from just dealing any damage with any weapon, which causes those poison clouds and more damage over time, you can see why I was really enjoying playing as Venomess. Now, for those of you who might be interested in the lore behind Venomess, Venomess before the fall was a spy and an assassin, hailing from a realm of monstrous beings, her veins flowing with frigid and venomous blood. In her dark and storied past, she was an infiltrator of vaults deemed impenetrable. She pilfered secrets straight from the clutches of the Avar throne, and with her deadly toxins, she has felled more Archon commanders and masterful spellsmiths than entire battalions could claim, and not many who have seen her have lived to tell the tale. She was born amidst the twisting corridors of the maze, and Venomous's kin are the goblins and ferocious battle beasts that lurk within the shadows. And though her form mirrors that of a human, with Ven, as with all things, appearances weave a deceptive tapestry. Beyond her skills in espionage and assassination, she is a masterful alchemist and inventor, yet Venomess finds her true calling not in the quiet of a workshop crafting potions, but in stalking her prey through darkened alleys and shadowed corridors. Above all, Venomess was driven by an insatiable thirst for, I guess, a challenge, a formidable adversary, and she's seen that in the encroaching gloom. Now, Venomess dedicated her life to orchestrating the downfall of the Avar Imperium, the empire which now lies in ruin, swallowed whole by the gloom. But this victory is kind of a poison chalice for Venomess, for the maze that she once cherished and all that lived within it has also been claimed by the darkness of the gloom, which has left Venomess with just one, I guess, priority, and that is survival. So she's willing to pay whatever price that she has to in order to survive. But you're going to have to try her out for yourself if you jump into the game. Like I said, the game is live right now for anyone who's picking up a Founders Pack, and it is fully free to play in a few months' time. Hopefully, I'll get to have some fun with some of you in the community. Like I said, there is a link in the description if you're interested. Have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.
Better hold your breath.